Podcast. Real conversations with the people behind Bristol's businesses.
Welcome back to the Bristol Business Podcast, the show where we shine a spotlight on the people powering our amazing city. I'm your host, Lee, and today we're talking about all things wiring, innovation, and most importantly, local impact with the founder of Bristol's premier rated electrical companies, MJP Electrical. We've got Mark with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Very good, thank you.
Awesome. So from emergency call-outs to cutting-edge EV charger installations, you guys have built a reputation for reliability and quality. I'm excited to dive into the story behind the business. So start off with the journey. So what led you to start MJP Electrical, and how did your background in the industry influence your approach?
Where do we start? I won't go too far back. I won't go back into the origin story of working with my mother. My mother used to work for Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
It goes back as far as that, delivering service, making people happy, lightening their day, acquiring tips and 20p's here and there.
Yeah.
So I won't go into that, but that's where it started almost. So I got into the electrical industry by chance. I actually went into printing, publishing, electronic media from college. I got sacked from there.
Yeah.
Nothing untoward. So I went on a 2-week holiday to Zante with my girlfriend at the time, and I was working on a 12-hour shift plan. So I put 2 weeks off, but it covered 3 shifts, and I only put 2 shifts off. I came back first day from holiday, said, "Sorry lad, you're not about your time off. You're gone." So I was redundant. I was a 17-year-old kid at the time. I'd only been there, 6 months? And I didn't know what to do. So my friend at the time, I played rugby with him. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I've got an apprenticeship lined up." So he got an apprenticeship with David Fair Electrical.
Yeah.
It's quite a well-established electrical company at the time. And I followed him in there. So I tapped up the contracts manager at the time. Said, "There, any chance of an apprenticeship?" So got in with them. And I worked across quite a range of the industry then. It was more commercial, industrial at that time. I was an apprentice. It was good times. The company back then was probably 80% apprentices.
Yeah.
So you can imagine some of the banter we used to have on site.
Yeah, that was a question.
Yeah, it was great. It was great times. We used to really enjoy being at work. There was a lot of banter going on. It was the good old days of the electrical industry. A couple of senior guys learning off them. Yeah. So where did I go now? So I was about 3 years into my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And then my current girlfriend at the time came in with some good news that we were expecting a kid. So I was an 18-year-old kid, sort of not earning peanuts, hadn't finished my apprenticeship, and discovered I was going to be a father at 18. Couldn't afford to carry on my apprenticeship on the money we were in. We had to move out, get our own flat, etc. So I did a deal with the contracts manager. I said, "Love working here, but I need more money." He said, "The only way you're going to do it is go on to an adult traineeship." So I wangled more money, so I more than doubled my rate. They could see the value I was adding. I was becoming quite competent. And my dad lent me some money and paid for the finishing off of the courses. So that sort of semi-solved that. I still couldn't afford to run a car, so I was riding my bike with my tools on my back at the time, cycling all around Bristol. Yeah, so I finished my apprenticeship. And then I did what every electrician does, the pot of gold, chasing the money. So I went into subcontracting then. I was travelling around the country, chasing the bucks, as you say, and earning pretty good money,
Yeah.
but drinking half of it,
It's always
pissing
the way,
it up
isn't
against the wall, as they say. Was working 7 days a week, earning quite good money. Worked for various other companies in the area then, but got into some house bashing, they call it. So worked in building sites on price work. It was all about the money. So
Yeah.
a lot of electricians that come out their apprenticeship and they're money, they're after the money, as you do. Then out of the blue, I got a telephone call from a recruitment consultant. They said, look, British Gas have got this new home electrical care product going out and we're looking for time-served electricians. And at the time I thought, no, domestic market, is it me? But I thought, you know what, I'll do it. So I joined British Gas. Was working alongside their central heating installers. It was a bit weird working for British Gas as an electrician.
Yeah.
But so we got involved with the home electrical care product. It was quite a success. It grew. I became in a more senior position there where I was training guys. They were giving me the guys to train up and I was onboarding them, training them and sending them out to work. I spent, I think it was 11 years there. 2010, my dad died out of the blue, shot car, died. He was there 1 minute, gone the next. So I hit rock bottom then, as you do. And something ignited in me, you know, when your dad dies, you're the head of the family then, you need to stand up.
Yeah.
You know, create a legacy, so I decided to create MJP Electrical. That was in 2010. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to run a business. I was your typical one, sole trader, white van man, keeping your head below the VAT threshold. Yeah, it was, and that was interesting times. It was, so I had a growing family. So I had a first child at 19 and continued having kids every 4 years after that. But I was on the roller coaster, so I had to provide for the family.
Yeah.
Like most men do. So I was on the roller coaster. So I was working 7 days a week, all hours, working 8 hours a week, most weeks. Feast and famine. Some months you can't pay your mortgage. Other months you're flush. Come on, we're going on holiday, girl. Let's go. So it was feast and famine. I look back on those times and it was traumatic. I was often burning out, becoming overwhelmed. But I always had that. I always maintained that customer service approach, or tried my very best to. Did 10, 11 years again, self-employed. Ended up with a big mountain of debt. Nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
The Eureka moment for me was I sat down with old Jock, my old accountant at the time. The typical arrangement, I used to see him once a year, give him a bag full of receipts, and he'd say, well, what do you want me to do with that? And I'd say, well, I want to pay as little tax as possible, or get as much tax back as possible. And he sat me down and he looked me in the eye and he said, what are you doing, son? He said, you've been coming here 5 years now. It's the same story every year. He said, I can see how hard you're working. I can see how you are as a person. He said, you need to go and find a job for someone. He said, what you're clearing, you may as well be working in like a supermarket on minimum wage. He said, I can see the hours you're putting in, all the invoices, all the receipts, high volume. And that was a Eureka moment for me. I went home, I looked at my bank balance, I looked at my credit card bills, and you know what, I thought, this can't go on. Can't go on. So it was a Eureka moment again. I sort of drove into I was chatting to existing clients saying, what is it about what I do that attracts you to, so it went on a bit of a customer research and development, what are you looking for? And it was all about the customer. It was how I communicated, how transparent, how honest I was, how professional I was with the service, would follow up with the certificates, adhering to the current regulations, the high standards. And I said, you know what, I looked around the marketplace and I thought, you know what, there's not a lot of competition here. Everyone's doing what I'm doing. and they're trying to do the impossible. You know, that level of professionalism, trustworthiness, honesty, and empathy, which are our core values to today. That's very, very hard to achieve as a one-man band, doing everything yourself. So, quoting for the works, doing the jobs,
Yeah.
you know, chasing the money, getting the work is, you know, that's the biggest thing. It was feast and famine, it's an impossible task. So yeah, I decided to sort of ascertain what I was doing well and what was serving me well and put it into a company. So that created a vision of a company that, you know, world-class customer service, had a vision of a company where, you know, everyone shares the same values, and together as a team you can achieve great things. MJP Electrical was born. Yeah, so we set up. So I put all my chips on the table. So there we go. I incorporated. I went on a bit of a mission of a personal growth journey. So I, you know, all the resources, as we know on the internet, if you want to learn something, is there. So first thing I went into was digital marketing, sales. Yeah, and that was a massive growth journey for me. Started reading personal lists. So I'm an audiobook guy. I don't read. I find it difficult to read, but I'm an audiobook. So I was listening to audiobooks such as Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That was a big one for me. Yeah, and I was on a mission. I hit rock bottom, and I decided, you know, I'm going to do something with this. So we incorporated 2019. Chips on the table, couple of vans. It was just so I invested in systems, CRM systems, job management systems, brand new website, you know, new logos, everything you need to set up. So I put the last of my money down. So I think it was 15 grand we set up with. It was all on the table, and then 2 weeks later, COVID hit. Yeah, so I didn't qualify for any grants, you know, anything. There was no support there for me whatsoever. So I had a guy that shared the vision at the time. You know, he was completely sold on the vision of the company, was all in. Yeah, and I had a tough decision to make whether I keep this guy going or I just look after myself and my family. So I decided to keep him going.
Yeah.
So I ran more of the back office, the quoting, running the system, getting him busy. But backs against the walls. Backs against the wall. I mean, that's where I'm best. I'm backs against the wall, coming out, fighting and swinging. Yeah, we developed the free remote estimate. So a lot of the electrical companies are now doing that. Yeah. You know, I take that as a bit of a compliment that others are looking at what we're doing and replicating it. I mean, our intent is to improve the electrical industry, you know, the domestic service electrical industry. Yeah, so I encourage that. You know, I want other one-man bands, other companies to look at what we're doing and raise the bar. Free remote estimate went out. So during COVID, you couldn't go in. So we were doing video calls, getting pictures, getting information sent through. Yeah, and that kept us going. That enabled us to survive through that period. We were going with alcohol gel wipes, cleaning the area, wearing masks, sectioning off the area.
Yeah.
We did what we had to do to survive. So yeah, and you know, and it just took off. It took off of that. You know, we financially wise, and that's not the be and all end all, but we doubled up every year. So our revenue is doubling every year. So that was 6 years ago. On a financial aspect, yeah. Yeah, and we're here where we are now. So the last 6 years have been a bit of me doing everything still, wearing all the hats in the business, just doing the marketing, the sales, the quotes, the business admin, the bookkeeping, you name it, I've done everything in the business. I've learned every aspect of the business on how to operate. So we're at a stage now where we're bringing in, you know, key positions in the business. We've just signed a very experienced chap called Pete Moon as a business administrator. He's been involved with some other great scaling businesses. So he's fully aware of what it takes to scale a business, getting our numbers in the right place, clear financial reports in. We're building a sales team, you know. I think the model we've got's very good in regards to the reactive stuff, but we're looking to sort of branch out and get more into the renewables again, because we have operated in renewables. We've done solar, EV charging, but there's a big market that we're looking to get into that as well. Yeah, it's exciting. It's challenging, but exciting. You know, I do jump out of bed every morning, and I do get on with it. But we're at that critical stage now where it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about the player, you know, the people in the team, getting, you know, making sure they share our vision. Yeah, and the legacy lives on.
I love that.
Yeah.
There's just so much to unpack there, so much to go back to. So I'm in the commercial world, so I do sales, marketing, stuff like that. Couldn't rewire a plug to save my life. Got no electrical skills whatsoever. So I think of myself doing the reverse of what you did, trying to learn to be an electrician, and it's just nothing's further from my mind. So to go from an electrician and then try to like delve into like that sales and marketing world, that can't have been easy, because it's a completely different skill set, isn't it?
Well, you could do it.
Yeah.
You could do it. If you had to do it, you would do it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Not easy. How did you find getting into the marketing, digital marketing?
I loved it. I'm probably a failed electrician, I would say. I mean, I love the dark arts of marketing, the psychology of it. And I think what's served us in good stead is we're authentic. We're not gimmicky. Yeah. We're not. I mean, AI is a big thing now, so like it or love it, it's here, and everyone's using it. I don't like it. I think it should be authentic. I think it should be demonstrating what you're all about, not warts and all.
Yeah.
It's authenticity as far as I'm concerned with the marketing.
I think we've moved into like an era of authenticity. So, I mean, I remember going to trade shows. I do care software, so we go to all the trade shows, and you'd see them there, suited and booted. Everyone's pulling up in the Mercs. They're like, and then over the last few years, it's just gone into more. People want authenticity. Yeah. People want real people, and it's a massive change, and it's such a good change as well, because you're not getting someone who's selling you porky, selling you a dream. You're getting the real people behind it, and empathy. I think that's everything should be done with through the vision, through the mirror of empathy, because if you can't see Barb, who's maybe she's got like 4 kids, she doesn't have a job, her boiler's broke down, if you can't kind of first go in and look at the position that she's in and then kind of be empathetic towards that, then why are you in a public service business?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's, I
mean, that's a big character trait of mine, and it's got to go into the core values. Anyone, if you're a cleaner in the office, you know, you've got to hold a core values. Empathy is massive to us. And if, you know, you can imagine over the 6 years people have come and gone, they stick out like a sore thumb. If they don't hold our values, they stick out like a sore thumb. That's why we're creating something so great. Yeah. It's because we won't accept anyone that doesn't hold our core values.
Yeah, and that's the key, isn't it? Especially with values-based recruitment, because you could have someone, and I've seen it in the sales field over years of being around and sold so many different stuff, of people who are just a really good salesperson, but their moral compass is skew with it's off down here towards the money, as opposed to being a kind of like solution person of like, right, what's your problem? What have we got? Do these two marry up? I think,
Well, that's the challenge, is people can sell you the dream of their capabilities and their values, but, you know, especially in a small business, there's no hiding place, isn't there? So that's something I've had to come to terms with. You know, I thought it would be easy. I didn't think it would be this hard, is the people element. I thought, we'd get the work in, we'd get the guys in, and we'd be all go. But it's deeper than that. I mean, if if your vision's creating something special, you've got to, no matter how hard it is, no matter,
Yeah.
you know, I've made some decisions in the past that have been financial catastrophe, but it just goes against our moral compass, like you say.
Yeah.
And you stick to that, you know, eventually, if you keep your sanity, you will get there. That's the way I see it.
Keeping the sanity, that's the hard bit, isn't it? That's the hard bit.
Well, I didn't have it in the first place,
Yeah,
so
there you go.
that's helped me out, yeah.
But yeah, so was there a moment when you knew the MJP was going to be a leading local provider?
A lot of it was from the feedback that we were getting from the clients. I mean, everything we do is for the clients,
Yeah,
and everything we do is for our employees. Anyone that chooses or chases the opportunity to come and join us on a mission, everything we do is around that. But yeah, we listen to our clients. That's, you know, it's not rocket science. We listen to the good, the bad, the ugly. We've got a culture of reflection, so we conduct weekly check-ins, and we review the good, the bad, the ugly. And if, you know, we all make mistakes. That's a big thing in our culture. We do not penalise anyone that makes a mistake in our company. You know, as long as they're demonstrating self-reflection and looking to put it right. But yeah, it's the empathy, isn't it? It's listening to the clients. If obviously you get clients that are their agendas to screw you,
yeah.
you know. But we've got processes and systems in place to deal with that now.
So you do offer a wide range of services from EV charging to emergency call-outs. How did you focus? How did you decide what to focus on?
Yeah, services wise. I mean, it was often my one-man band days. The emergency services are essential. You know, the call-outs, out of hours call-outs. It's a sense of enjoyment out of coming to the rescue.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a young family without any heating and hot water, we often, you know, daily we're getting calls saying the internet's off. Young Tom can't go on his iPad. I mean, that's real world problems nowadays. It used to be the central heating's packed and he can't have a bath. Now his iPad's not working. He's driving us nuts.
Someone can't play Fortnite.
So I mean, over the years we have, you know, with the teams we've had, and some guys were opposed to delivering on that service. We stuck to our guns and said, no, this is what we're about. We're a customer-centric company. You know, this is what we do best, is helping people in need. So we developed the quick fix service as well, the 1 hour service. That's been a big hit. Small jobs. I suppose that's a lot of electricians turn their nose out at that, but that's us giving us the opportunity to get our foot through the door, show the customer what we want, and that creates a long-standing customer. That's the objective. We don't, you know, no matter how small the job is, we want to go in and we want to show the client what we're about, and hopefully create a long-standing relationship. You know, down the line they could be moving house, having a house rewire, getting solar on the roof. Yeah. It's doing the little things, isn't it, that creates the bigger picture.
Yeah, there's just so much resonating with me and how kind of I operate in my business, which is completely different. So yeah, no, it's just, yeah. And it's a testament to your core values, that authenticity we spoke about, the fact that you've got customers coming back. One thing I did notice is there was a very strong online presence around customer reviews. So how important were the customer reviews? Was that almost happened by accident, or did you proactively seek out those reviews? Do you ask for those reviews, or are they kind of just a bit of a happy accident?
Yeah, I mean, that's the icing on the cake. That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
You know, and if we're not aware of that and we're not obtaining that, then we're doing it all for nothing, aren't we? We're doing it for the wrong reasons.
100%.
So, yeah, that's the end result that we're looking for. Every job's a 5-star review, you know, and if it's like, forget doubling up every year financially. It's not about that. It's about how many reviews are we getting? You know, how many 5-star reviews are we getting? That's my measure of success.
Yeah, and we are in the era of because the customer buying journey is changed dramatically, even since like 2020. We are in the review kind of era, the Google review,
Yeah.
Trustpilot. When you go out, you always go on. It's not Trustpilot. What's the food one? TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
You go on TripAdvisor, find the best
Yeah.
one. If I'm looking for an electrician, I'll probably look in the area and then look at the reviews. So by the time someone's picked up that phone and actually started speaking to you, they're like 70% through their buying journey already. So those reviews are like,
Yeah.
I think I heard it once that reviews on your website is the only salesperson who works 24 hours a day. So to get those reviews is just, yeah, it's perfect and it's really powerful, isn't it?
I think that's what served us well. You know, you look into the commercial sector of our industry, it's all behind closed doors. It goes into our values of transparency. You know, if you're transparent, it serves you well, and you've got good intent. I'm all for transparency and having it open to the world. You know, everyone can see what's going on, the good, the bad. We've got a few bad reviews,
Yeah.
and hopefully new clients can see how we sort of reacted to those reviews, of self-reflection. Yeah, it's all about transparency for me. We're not perfect. We never will be.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, it's about that culture of having that openness. And like I say, we all make mistakes. We all falter. We all fall. But again, you stick your hand up and you go, might have messed up here a little bit. How do we fix it? I think what you can't deal with is the people who like try to hide the mistakes under the table, because that's a slippery slope.
Doesn't wash. It comes back to bite you on the ass, doesn't it?
Always.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, how's the industry changed? Because obviously now we've got EVs, we've got electric cars, things like that. So do you get a lot more work from people who have got EVs? Do you get more work from kind of like councils are trying to fit points in, stuff like that?
Yeah, the EV market was a bit of a mad rush when the OLEV grant came out. It was a bit of a gold rush.
Yeah.
And then the government sort of stamped out with the OLEV grant system. I can remember we did, I think it was 800 installs in a year, but we didn't get the grant for nearly 2 years. So we were obviously giving it to the client up front. You know, not a profit. We had to wait 2 years to get it. So that was a bit of, the government are helpful, aren't they?
Oh yeah, government
Really helpful for small businesses, and to the day. I mean, that's another challenge, isn't it? Is trying to compete with the blockers with the government. There's no assistance there. So yeah, the EV chargers was a rush, gold rush. We're noticing a big influx of that. So it did go a little bit quiet after the grant. So big companies, you get a monopoly in the industry. So Octopus, British Gas, they're all doing the big monopoly on it and offering preferential rates. So we had a bit of a dip of that, but what we've noticed recently is customers are actually coming to us. As well in the industry, we had a lot of, we call them pop-up companies that were just ditching the OLEV grant, coming up, chucking the installation in cheap, and then they're gone 12 months later. So it was a bit pop-up companies in and out. So we're going back, we're servicing and repairing a lot of EV chargers from bad installs from these companies. And that's where our selling point is we're always going to be here. So if we fit you a charger 2 years ago and you get a problem with it, we're here to help you. So yeah, the EV charging is an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that kind of dovetail with the solar as well? Because I noticed there were a lot of like solar companies who then, cowboys, aren't they?
Yeah.
They'll like buy the cheap ones from China, fit them in, they'll last a year, and then by the time you try to cash in the warranty, they're either jail or Barbados somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's crazy. So are there any emerging technologies in the electrical field that you're excited about or that you're already looking into?
Well, obviously the solar and battery. So I did quite a bit of solar in my one-man band days.
Yeah.
It was a big rush for that with the with the export tariff initiative going on with that. We dipped our toe in it last year. We did half a dozen installs successfully. You know. It was a bit of a recruitment problem, getting the right guys in to deliver on that. And we were so busy with the core business that we had to pull it back in. Now we're getting back into it, so I'm already researching and developing again, getting ready to go operationally with it again. And the technology has changed dramatically in the last 12 months. So it's keeping up with the technology with
The
it.
trends, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I think we've got a very strong product that we could put anywhere with our systems, processes, our values. I think we could put it anywhere in the world and be successful.
Awesome. On that
Yeah.
front, have you looked at franchising? Is that something that you've looked at as well?
It's
Going
there.
national?
It's there. I've not gone deep into, learning the ins and outs of it, but it's definitely in the future. I mean, in regards to a development opportunity within the company, so we're heavily involved with affiliate partners. So self-employed electricians that are fully licensed, accredited, are coming and working with us now. There is a development opportunity. We've actually got a guy that's screaming out saying, I want to progress, I want to come in more involved into the company. That would involve him leading the team. So we're looking for leaders to come in on board in the field.
Yeah.
Now that franchise model is always there, so a buy-in into the company, geographical areas, team A, B and C across different regions, that is definitely on the horizon, yeah.
That must
Yeah.
be like amazing to see that, like your dream, the 15k on the table,
Yeah.
and now there's the possibility of it going national.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
That's my ambition, is for people to come in on that journey. I can help them, mentor them, support them. I mean, what we offer at MJP Electrical is not just about our clients, it's about the engineers that affiliate with us.
Yeah.
You'll see it yourself across social media, the support we provide. And this all goes back to the origin story of my struggles. It was lonely. I was doing everything myself. So the company's built around that model of support, development, opportunities. Yeah, and that's the vision. We're creating something for everyone. It's about our clients and the people that work with us.
Yeah, we seem quite similar, as well as having the same haircut. But something I love giving back is training young salespeople and mentoring them, and then just seeing those journeys where you
Yeah.
see them come from, didn't have anything, not even a jot of experience, to someone who's up here. You're like, there's just something very kind of heartwarming about that.
That's what it's all about. That's simply what it's all about. And it's not easy, and you won't always get it right. That vision's always been there, and I'll hold my hand up, and it hasn't gone to plan with certain individuals that have been there. We're at the position now where we're actually seeing that happen. We're seeing guys progress, perform, hit their goals. Hitting their goals, so what we do is anyone that comes on board with us, we set their personal goals, earning goals, progression goals. We set up a full development plan for them. And we've actually had a guy who's came in and he's smashed every single goal since he's been on, and he's at a stage now, where do you go next? He's setting his own goals, and we're almost working for him to achieve his goals. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
It's serving our clients and our people.
that's it. I think I read about servant leadership, where even though we're leaders, we're more in like a servant role. Right, what do you need from me to be able to progress? So, that's about it. So, any closing thoughts? Anything just to tell the people out there?
Yeah, believe in our authenticity. We are trying to do what we're saying we're going to do. I mean, if you're a self-employed electrician and you're going through the same sort of thing that I was going through, reach out and come and meet us, meet the team, check us out on social media. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll see it for yourself, what we're trying to achieve.
Awesome. So that brings us to the end of another episode of the Bristol Business Podcast. A huge thank you to Mark from MJP Electrical for joining us and sharing his amazing journey from starting out as an electrician to running one of Bristol's most trusted electrical companies. Wherever you're watching this, if it's LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X, drop a like, subscribe, leave a review, comment, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on the Bristol Business Podcast. Please remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe. If you are interested in appearing or sponsoring the podcast, contact details can be found in the episode description.